hypothetically, where would you be putting $5?
Where, hypothetically, I'm gonna put my channel. Do you not have bet on your channel? I'm gonna put my channel points on there because I can't bet on my channel.
You can't?
I can't bet on my. Oh, of course you can't. You can't bet on your own channel. You fool.
Oh, fact. How many channel points do you have on my channel?
5,800.
Yikes! I have 27k Wardy points.
Well, we know he likes each other more, right?
Yeah, this is a one-way relationship.
Why is your prediction John versus Kewer?
Because this is one of my mods. Because whenever I pronounce Zoun, I usually say Jown because people told me that's how you pronounce it, and then people started making memes that it's John, and then now they call him John every single time. Yeah, it's the moment you start explaining memes, I feel like it's yikes. What do I need to do?
You move your overlay. You've got Team Liquid stuff all over Kewer's name.
It's okay. Kier loves Team Liquid.
Well,
man. He loves frequenting the forums, guys.
Yeah.
You guys can also do that. TL.net. While you're there, don't forget to put exclamation mark rate on the TL forums as well, and get that sweet link for the Wardy.
You know,
for the.
I wouldn't be advising you on your stream, but like I did hear you played an entire game in EPT with your face on the screen, so
full screen.
Yeah, nice. And you just want people to know, like, you know, learn the game from your reactions. It's the next level. You start reading your opponent, you glance across the stage at them during the finals.
You know what the worst part was? That was the best game by far that I played that day. Like, by far. Like, I was playing so well. I wish I could have shown a game. And they were hearing it. I was like, oh man, I'm doing good. You know, it's fantastic. But yeah, it wasn't it. So sad. It's the way of the world sometimes. What are we seeing here? It's funny actually when we think about TvP. We've been seeing a major shift from Terrans, opening up with Marine first, right? In the past month and a half. It's majority been Marine first, sometimes triple Marine into double Reaper, sometimes Marine into Reaper, something that Sol actually popularized. And there's one of the guys that really hasn't been kind of swayed by this, and that is Cure. Cure doesn't give a crap. He's been building his Reaper majority of the games. We're talking 85% of the time. That's a number that I just pulled out of thin air, but let's just stick to that. Like he plays a crap ton of Reaper before Marine. Rather than going straight into that reactor and playing triple Marine. It's a little bit safer, it can get you more information. Now Pure also likes to follow this up with a Hellion to truly get a lot of that info going. If you're Cure here, Wardy, and you see this probe come back to the far right side,
I'm terrified.
You're a little bit afraid. Yeah, of his proxy Stargate, right?
Yeah, I'm absolutely terrified. I've got no idea what he's up to, but I'm all over the map. I've got at least 2 SCVs out there scouting, and you know, I'm convinced.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm feeling you there. I'm feeling you. You know, you don't really truly understand the terror of that Terran players have to go through when playing against TOS. Until you play Terran for a little bit yourself and you see a random probe move on the map. Even though you counted all the pylons at the Protoss home and nothing is weird, you're like, but what if? There's just that voice in your head. Okay, well, you see the Reaper. Ooh, actually getting a full deny there is a big deal. That really is quite a big deal because if you have a player, and most players these days have the diversity that at least the Protoss players have that, like the diversity where they can play most build orders. They can play Oracle, they can play Twilight, and they can do it off of anything. Like, it's not extremely uncommon to see triple adept into Twilight. We've even seen people go triple adept into Robo. So the moment that is a possibility, just seeing triple adept isn't good enough. And if you invest a lot in scouting units like the Reaper and the Hellion, you kind of have to figure out what the tech is. Now, he did end up figuring it out because John moved on the map a little bit too fast with his triple adept. Didn't manage to fully deny that scout, and now that Oracle had to go back home. So I believe Cure is just going to stay home with this Medevac. He's not going to be playing triple CC though, which has been the most common response, right, to Stargate openers.
Yeah, triple CC is just gives you the economy, right? What can the Stargate really do against triple CC? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Instead it's going to be Bio, but Bio is actually... Here's the thing, like, 3-Rex is pretty good against Stargate, but it's not bad. But nowadays I always feel like the Protoss just know how to have the right amount of units, so you can't just run in and kill them, which sucks. Feels bad.
Yeah, and on top of that, we're playing here on on Romanticide, which if there is a map where it's difficult to kill a toss on, it's got to be Romanticide. It's a large map. It has multiple ramps, which also can be covered by a battery. So it's just a defensive paradise here for Protoss players. We actually see Zoun following this up with charge and +1 attack, but still going up to 4 gas. He's also getting his gates relatively late. We see a high Phoenix count. Now he has seen that it is 3 racks. He has seen the stim or the combat shield researching, whatever he thinks it is. It is kind of interesting to me that he believes so much in his unit movement and his ability to stop this push that he can just go up to 4 gas, get his gates this late, and get as many probes as well. This really either shows extreme confidence in the build, or he just prays to God that Cure isn't going to commit to an attack. As Zoun actually is gonna. Oh my God! Did you see that?
No. But what part of it? The medevac?
Yeah. Wow, that was so close. Good response, reaction speed by Cure, and also impressive that Zoun managed to spot that on the minimap. That must have been like less than like 1/4 of a second on there. I'm kind of worried here for Zoun, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. You said it's rare to see people just run in and kill them, but if how many mines he's gonna drop in the main base? I'm not a massive fan of this. I think he's expecting Colossi. Against Colossi, this would have been the play, but against Chargeford, it's hard to say. Phoenix completely out of position as the 2 medevacs jump into the main base.
And it does feel like this was a moment where if you have everything just running into the third, you probably do just really well, but like you say, he wasn't quite aware of what the follow-up was. He is in the main, he is dealing damage. Just maybe a missed opportunity as now the Phoenix come in, they lift up those Widow mines. Phoenix being targeted down, so getting some value here, but of course he is going to lose a good chunk of what he brought into this main base, if not everything, as now the Phoenix will chase down the medevacs. 6 workers killed again. It's not bad. It was just that third was so undefended at the start.
Yeah, and the reason I say that as well is because if you open Colossi, you're not going to have a Twilight upgrade there, which means that sure you can send your Phoenixes back home, but if you warp in units to defend, they're not going to be able to fight that. Like you can't walk in with slow zealots or just with pure Stalker against such a high DPS army. Now Cure is going to go to the front. He would have loved to have done this earlier. As you can still see, he's trading relatively well, even though we're already 2, maybe even 3 warp gate cycles further. So truly a missed opportunity here for Cure. Is going to be hitting himself in the head there. On the other hand, I mean, his position isn't bad, right? Like he's okay. His upgrades aren't great. They're not terrible. We see second eBay go down. He's going up to 5 racks already, and his income is relatively decent. There's no secondary tech yet for Zoun on the way. Like, just the Templar Archive with no real splash coming out of it. Like, there's no Storm. Decent mine hits, but if every single time you move back, you lose your mines, this type of push quickly loses its power, right? Usually you build on top of the previous attack, and if you keep your mines alive, eventually you're just gonna get like 6, maybe even 8 mines, and then the charge lots are just going to melt like butter in front of the sun.
Butter in front of the sun. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes I'm so ready to say something, you come out with a cracker like butter in front of the sun, and I just lose everything I had to say. I mean, how would you even follow up from that?
You just throw something in yourself there.
I can't. I'm not funny enough. I'm not quick enough in the brain to do that. I'm just...
you don't undersell yourself there, Wardy. We know you're very funny. Just doesn't show too often.
Just
now,
doesn't show too often. That's what I was gonna say.
Once again, outspaced by the Dutchman in his non-native language. Now we have Cure moving across the map, 1/1 upgrades. He's going to be attacking at a moment where if Zoun is not in position, even if he's in position, this might be rough. Colossi are not out yet, no thermal lens. This is a cancel on the fourth, right? Yeah. Beautiful move here by Cure. Absolutely smelling out this timing.
Yeah, just gonna find this really nice. He's actually, is any worth going up this ramp of position? He's got the Widow Mines to try and fire. He force field told him off. Okay. Shouldn't be able to do much more. He's actually still moving up though, man.
Yeah, he's feeling it. But I'm not entirely sure about it. Of course, he still has the ability to retreat, but this army is pretty marine heavy. You don't want to give those Colossi the party that they are looking for. 2 Phoenixes remain on the map, which means that usually when you open Phoenix, your map vision tends to be a bit so-so, quite honestly, because you're mainly relying on Phoenixes to control the pace of the game. So the moment you lose those Phoenixes, usually you're just going to be pretty blind. And we see that right now as Zoun is trying to establish some map vision. He's sending a Zealot towards the right side, but he's pretty much in the dark. He knows there's an army on the map, but he doesn't quite know exactly where it is. And it actually is in front of his fort, but this is another cancel on the fort if Kjur decides to engage into these. I mean, there's a ghost here. He has 2 upgrades. Actually, if Zoun isn't careful, he might just straight up roll over and die.
Yeah, the other 2 Colossi show up. The Wooden Mines try and dive forward. They will go down. There's a couple more that are still with the army. Kjur's going to pull back, play it safe, get rid of that 4th base, right? No reason not to. The Colossi definitely something you want to keep an eye on. A Wooden Mine connects onto the army as well. Yeah, I've got extra Zealots coming back through on the other side of the map, but Kjur's dealing with those. So honestly, it's just all about Kjur keeping this game controlled, keeping it slowed down from Zoun's side, and he's actually going to dive in right now because there's not really any Zealots here, right? So there's nothing to stop this army just jumping on him. No force fields available either, and that is probably, if not a game ender, very close to it.
Yeah, the super battery kind of working as a band-aid here for Zoun's broken collarbone, and that's not quite going to cut it. He has no fort base, he's getting decent upgrades, but he just got all of his tech basically reset. He lost all of his Archons, all of his expensive gas units. He's now sacrificing a Disruptor to Kjur as well, which, albeit understandable, not going to be the play here. Kjur moves in, EMPs absolutely everything he can get his hands on, and the Marauders running forward, snipe the Disruptor. I think he can just stand still. He doesn't even need the Micro anymore. Lands the Vikings to add a little bit of DPS. GG gets called as Kjur wins game number 1 here in the semifinals of the Winter WardiTV Winter Invitation. Short attack as the limiting factor very often for Protoss players is just going to be that gas. So a fantastic job there by Kjur. Very often people wonder in these little engagements that we saw near the 3rd base, like, well, he's not gaining any momentum, he's just trading out units. Why is he doing that? And it's just really to force the Protoss player to invest into gas units. And Kjur seemed to perfectly understand that in the last game. His unit rotations, by the way, were close to perfect as well, right? Like he from the right to the left, and always keeping Zoun kind of not exactly knowing where the army was, and always not even threatening a drop, but just having it in the back of his mind. You know, Zoun always needed to kind of cover that area. We saw some of the Stargate movement there as well was more focused on the right side at times, while the army was just in the middle, moving towards the fort. So overall, just a fantastic game coming out of Kjur, with a relatively poor start as well. So I'm very curious to see how Zoun is going to adapt to the situation and adapt to the playstyle of Kjur, because this looked very, very powerful. If you have an early game like our Protoss player had last game, and you kind of get blasted like that in the mid game on Romanticide of all maps, yeah, you're gonna probably rethink your plan a little bit. I'd be surprised to see Stargate again.
You think you can just Twilight instead, just play Blink?
Yeah,
or DTs maybe?
Yeah, one of the two, right? So if we're on Oxide, this is one of the 2 maps in the current map pool where it's relatively easy to high tech, because he's building the perfect wall, right? So he has that pylon right now. It allows him to get a tech structure outside of vision range of the Reaper, which also makes Reapers kind of rare on this map, because honestly they should never be able to get any big info here. They really shouldn't be able to, and because of that we very often see things like Stargate Phoenix save ups, or we see 3-gate DT drops on this map. We see 4-gate blink all-ins, basically anything that is, I don't want to say slightly gimmicky, but is a lot better when it's hidden. So yeah, it's slightly gimmicky. I'll call it slightly gimmicky. I said the G word. It's fine. Yeah, it is not completely uncommon. We do see Warpgate starting here, so I'm guessing Twilight is the play here. Could still be Robo, but unlikely. Yeah, Twilight it is.
All right, so we see where we're moving already to give us a bit of an idea in this game. Kjur is going to go with the triple Marine mate, so he's going to keep on building Marines too. Kjur was one of the ones which he has gone for that double Reaper follow-up sometimes. That's not going to be this year, but it's another way in which Kjur is set up oftentimes in TvP. with the stopper on the way. Just looks like it's going to be a pretty typical Widowmine drop, and obviously it's really kind of all eyes on Zoun as to whether he's going to go Blink or whether he wants to go DTs.
Yeah, and it's gonna be DTs here.
Yeah.
But whenever this is cool for the Terran players, perhaps, if you do manage to get a scout off in the wall and you see this robo timing, this indicates that they want to get robo units, or well, it gets a robo before you start researching Blink or throw down the tech structure. So 9 out of 10 times this indicates either DT drop or it is a Blink Stalker all-in, 4-gate Blink Stalker all-in. These are the most common follow-ups from Blink Robo. You still have the 1 out of 10, like the 10% chance that they're playing something like a Blink Colossi opener, but that one has fallen out of favor so much with Protoss players that it's extremely rare to see these days. Like honestly, we never really see it anymore. Ooh, he's gonna get third base before gas. What do you think of that?
That's fun, isn't it? That's a nice way to switch it up, I suppose. Especially if you can use the DTs to kind of keep Q back and keep them distracted, then you might just be able to get away with that. And yeah, I guess that could work
He
pretty
goes into
well.
charge then, maybe first, or
I think he has
still
to go
Blink?
charge.
Yeah, I almost feel charge as well. Otherwise, defending anything would feel so hard. We have a Raven on the way. Now, the mine drop and the DT drop both need to be properly controlled. Let's see how Zoun deals with the mines. Is he in position?
Well, he's going to be able to put those back, pull the pros away initially. The DTs actually get some of the Marines, which are going for the Prism as well. So generally good defense from both players so far, but I feel like obviously it's Zoun that's taking more damage simply for the fact he's got 2 full mineral lines pulled away at the moment.
Yeah, and there's still 2 active mines in the main base. Now, 2 workers have gone down. The Marine count has been reduced. The wall has been broken as well. That's definitely a mistake out of Cure. Raven is finally out, and it should be able to put an end to this, but not before a bunch of the workers go, man, Zoun is struggling hardcore with the main base. Look at that.
Yep.
That's a yikes.
Widowmine's still here, and he's going to lose, what, 2 adepts now, and he's going to, should save both the Widowmines as well, so it's brutal.
Yeah. This is really the difference as well. If you watch like you have some of the guys you'll see play that are very, very good, but they won't be as good with the retargeting and with the unburrowing. And then you have guys like Cure. In Europe, I always say Clem is absolutely insane with that. Like, it's really not normal. Oh, beautiful play there coming out of Cure. Just in time with the, what's it called? Interference matrix on that prism. Gets a free DT there. And even though that doesn't look like a big deal, I think Zoun actually wanted to follow this up eventually with an Archons. Yeah, so he's gonna have to spend another 125 gas into something that he probably wouldn't have wanted to spend another 125 gas in. That's gonna delay something at some point. Yeah, he's just gonna go with 1 Archon now. I don't even mind that decision, because otherwise you're just gonna be delaying your sentries, your follow-up tech at home, and it's not like he did that much damage initially, right? Like, the main reason why I'm not minding Zoun's position here is because barracks 2 and 3 were extremely delayed.
Oh, the Archon just gets out, but the Prism is dead, so there's going to be another little win here from Q, and now you don't have to worry about the Archon moving around at all, and it just gives you a little bit more freedom in the game again.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure though. It's gonna really depend on the next push, because 58 workers against 43. Stim just now starting. Combat Shield is going to be late as well. There is 2 tanks, which is very, very helpful. There's not going to be any big splash, right? We're going to be seeing a Charge-Lot Archon army fighting here. So if a push can kind of set up, if we can get 4 to 6 mines with this push and the tank sieged in position, Zoun is going to be in trouble, because breaking Terran setups like that is almost impossible with charge lots. The problem is that I feel like you can't really get in a position like that anytime soon, and Zoun is feeling extremely comfortable. He's taking gas 4 and 5 right now on the 3rd base. Now, people always ask, why do people do that? It's because it's a lot easier to rally towards the 3rd base and then take the gases there than to temporarily rally towards the natural, right? Because then you might accidentally oversaturate the natural if something starts happening. So that's usually why you see people take the gases as to where they're rallied, especially if they don't need full gas saturation.
Alright, well, we're going to see Q is going to make a bit of a move out. He's going to come across through the right side of the map, so he is going to do a pretty good job of avoiding vision at least, right? Zoun is Gonna come with this hallucination Phoenix, and I guess he will figure out just from the fact that, okay, he actually saw there with the probe as well. So he does know where the army is. And again, I guess it comes down to a lot of setting up, right? Like you said before, get tank sieged, Widow Mines placed well. There is some hope here for Kyo to win a fight.
He has a good army, dude. Like, honestly, he gets +1. And like I said, there's no secondary splash, or well, there's no splash yet. I keep calling it secondary splash because Archon is some type of splash, but it doesn't have the same impact, and it doesn't scale as well as Storms or Colossi do. So it's not true splash in that way, you know. It's not as great. Now we want to force a siege up away and preferably be able to take out something out of the Terran here, whether that's a mine or two, or whether it's maybe a tank coming from the back. That would be a great start already here for Zoun. Cure is moving very, very patiently, and I'm honestly surprised that he feels that he can move this patiently, because his economic situation has been rather mediocre. Oh my god, the Umbrella looks beautiful.
Yeah, Archons dropped straight on top of the tanks though, and the Widow Mines, they didn't do amazing right away, but then the anti-armor missile was great, so now the Zealots melt. The Archons will go down. There's a lot of bio left here, awesome, to push forward, and those Immortals, they ain't going anywhere but down. It's just going to be seen. The Sentries will obviously not hold on themselves, and that was Q winning this fight in the end. And now there's just, well, Zealots running in, no armor upgrades, so the bio will do pretty well against this, just kiting back, reinforcements show up, and Zoun doesn't have the units at all.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very rough. The next Warpin could definitely help. You see a bunch of DTs. I wouldn't mind if he just makes a single Archon and sends his single DTs as well. These mines are going to be such a big factor in this fight. Ensuring, oh my god, 2 more mines come in. The army of Zoun is split here. This is looking very rough, but it's not quite over yet.
Oh my god, the Unburrows on the mines though are so sick. Yeah, basically forcing Archon to soak the damage. But that's exactly what you want. Take the shields off an Archon. It's fantastic. That makes the fight way easier than obviously hitting the Stalker that's just going to, you know, blink away and bait that Widow Mine shot out. So, fantastic stuff there.
What you're doing here as Toss is you're trying to bait that Widow Mine before the fight starts, or you catch splash on everything. And what Cure is doing is he's basically saying, okay, I'm just going to burrow it again. Not only does he get individual mine shots off, so he is taking out units time after time, allowing his other mines to restart, but he's also getting free DPS or free damage on the other units in the army that are moving back and forth with the one unit. So Cure is absolutely playing a fantastic game of Starcraft here. He's up 25 supply. He doesn't really have much of a follow-up, but I'm not sure if he even needs a follow-up.
Yeah, we've seen, I mean, as long as he does close this out soon, right? I mean, upgrades are improving from Zoun. I know it's not looking amazing for him at all, but if he was able to start making like one hold, maybe that turns into another, and maybe then Cure is a little bit stuck, but he's on the way to Ghost as well, right? I didn't actually see those. I guess that's going to be pretty nice. Not a quick move, but it's something. I think it's obviously perfect against what he's playing against.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to just see a Robobay being thrown down here for Zoun, because his situation isn't really looking to improve very much. He's growing an Immortal count, which is good against his majority Marauder army, by the way. Look, we started with an army consisting of only Marines, but now it's what is this? This is 17 Marauders, 13 Marines. There's a lot of medevacs here as well, and Zoun is doing a fantastic job microing this and controlling this with these 2 rams, but I mean, you just need to mess up once and it's over for you here. A little bit of a DT run by though. One into the third base, one into the main base, now trying to take out some of the tech labs, not sure why that was. Zoun's actually gonna push this back at least temporarily.
Yeah, he's, well, I mean, he was very quick to come back into it again, force the Stalkers to blink back. These Immortals are a little bit in the open. That was just Zoun getting caught a little there as Cure is now going to kite away. It's the Archons taking the brunt of the damage. Finally, some Zealots show up. Obviously, reinforcements a little slow to arrive this time from Cure because they've been back at home dealing with DTs, so not quite powered up, and Zoun in the end does hold this off. He does survive for the moment.
Extremely impressive hold there out of Zoun. Extremely impressive. Because very often you feel like you need to kind of hard dedicate to the low ground, because otherwise your army is going to be split, but Zoun didn't seem very phased by that at all. He expanded throughout all of that, and now I'm kind of, there is some type of a follow-up right here with the Ghost, but the upgrades are a little bit late. We saw some Liberators already being made, and Liberators at that phase of the game Oh my god, that pickup is almost always going to be for a finishing move, right? The Liberators are not there to go into a late game now. Cure actually is being caught up on the map a little bit. Good EMPs though.
Wow.
Takes out all of the Archons. Holy crap.
Yeah, the EMPs just meant the Archons melted, and now the Immortals, not the tanky forces they're meant to be. He EMPs one more time, then Prism actually lifts up. There's not a lot of damage output actually left here from Cure. A lot of his army supply is actually just in these medevacs. But it was still a good reset on the army count. Again of Zoun, right? All the tech units going down yet again.
Yeah. Like, I said being caught out, but the moment I said, I immediately regretted it as I saw like 7 EMPs blanketing the 4 Archons that was there. I was like, oh, never mind. Scan on the 4th base now, coming out of Cure, and Cure's actually flying his main base to the 4th as well. You'll see that he keeps similar income to his opponent during this game. So I'm impressed by his ability to keep expanding during this. Many people would be like, I don't think I can afford a Nexus here. Let me get like 4 more Zealots, but he's thinking about the future. I just wish we'd see some follow-up tech, because I don't think this is viable going into a pure gateway army. Once 2-2 finishes up here, he's going to be in so much trouble. Moving here, coming out of Zoun, Liberator shows up. A couple of mines too far in the back, not contributing, but I don't even think it's going to matter here, Wardy.
No, the Bio Army is just going to be a bit too much right now. The Zealots run in to try and defend. Doesn't matter. They will not be able to hold this off, and obviously just Stalkers and Immortals. There's only 2 Stalkers and Immortal left, so it will be a victory here from Kira in the next few moments. You'd imagine if Zoun doesn't give it up right now, then Kira will go across the map and kill some bases, but Zoun does tap out. Kira will get off to his 2-0 lead.
Wow. Good game, once again.
Second house.
That was the previous Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship.
Yeah, I did 2 last year, mate. Come on.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. One of them was Vikings, Wardy. Let's not confuse
No.
the
I
2 games.
did 2 raids and a Viking.
2 raid. Oh, Jesus. This is made of money. All right, guys. In the bottom left corner, spawning as the Red Pros player is down 2-0. But give him your love nonetheless. It's going to be Zoun playing for Team Alpha X. Good pickup, by the way, by them. Picked him up just before he blew up, no?
It was last year, right before Katowice. Which is...
Picked him up way before he blew up. Then it's actually a fantastic pickup. He didn't blow up yet.
He beat Innovation in an IEM qualifier, right? So he was hopeful, but it was definitely like...
Come on, that was not it.
Man, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just providing more context.
It sounds like you were downplaying their scouting ability. I think it's very impressive. Or maybe they didn't want to invest into a top player, and now they're stuck with a top player. Dang it.
Dang it.
They just want a mediocre guy. But I just got picked up by TL already, so they were... We'll get Zoun, I guess, and Zoun appears to be a champion. So yeah, it's gonna be rough for them.
What do you feel on Pillars of Gold for a bit of PvT?
I don't know. This map can be so rough. Like if you have that area near your fort, right, and you're so afraid of them dropping in your main, but also just running into your natural, or even running to your third from there, that you have some freaking scary rotations. And like if they get mines on top of that ramp close to your fort, like they scan your observer, or you don't get vision there, it sometimes feels near impossible to get a read on the game and to actually get your splash out if you open Twilight. I'm not sure what he's gonna open this game though. I'm kind of curious. On Pillars I do like playing Phoenix because of that reason. It feels difficult to control the pace of the game otherwise. The only thing we can say so far is that he's gonna send his first Adapter Cross map. His battery in the main is too late. He's gonna lose 1 probe at least.
Yep. As the first probe targeted, he's going to run around for it. Probes actually block the Reaper, and he will still lose 1.
He's gonna lose 2.
Well, another probe was off and away, mate. He's gone. He's out of there.
Yeah, that's awful though. This was god awful. So the reason why you build your gates on the low ground is so you can send your adept across the map really fast. It's specifically good on this map because you have a little bit less minerals. So the CC is naturally delayed already. It's less of an impact if you go with the core first, because it's really just dependent on the gate timing, right? Not so much on money. So relatively speaking, your core is faster than the CC on this map than on any other map. So the low ground CC does that, but he built his battery too late, and he kind of paid a price for it. So he invested a lot into this move out. He lost a worker, and then loses the first adept for basically free as well. Second adept is most likely also going to be going down, but at least he gets a trade there. So 2 adepts for 3 marines. It's not actually a good trade. And he also loses the probe, so yeah.
Yep, just feels like Kira's the one to go after a hot start this time around. Not what you want to be hearing as Zoun when you're down 0-2 and tournament life is on the line, of course, so a little
I hope
tough.
Zoun isn't hearing this, because then he still has the stream open.
You know what it is when I said it as well? I was like, man, someone's going to be fucking funny. I didn't know it was going to be my co-caster.
I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Blink starting here with the Robo before the Blink started. Now, the only good thing here for Cure or for Zoun is that it's difficult to read the timing of tech in this type of game, right? Otherwise, he probably could figure out that this is most likely going to be some type of push. For now, it's just looking like a 3-gate push, but yeah, there comes the Prism. Like I said, that Robo timing is highly suspicious. I'm not sure if Cure managed to figure it out. There is a possibility here, Wardy, that we're gonna see the dumbest game in our lifetime, where Cure attacks into an all-in, dies or like gets kited basically by the Stalkers, and then ends up losing to the counter attack. It is possible. But looking at the unit count, it seems a bit unlikely at the moment, and most likely what's going to happen is Zoun is going to see these Marauders, maybe even lose a Stalker, and most likely just lose the game.
You could have maybe cut those off a little bit, but he's about stim and combat shields, and these Stalkers are like, oh, let's kite, and then it's like, no, maybe we should not, as sentries are going to drop the force fields. Okay, that's well handled.
Was it? Too fast, no? You're playing against 3 racks with 4-gate blink. This is not a good situation. You need to get some type of a win here. Kier's still not realizing what's happening, by the way, which is odd because this truly can only be 4-gate blink or Robo Colossi at this point. He's here, and he saw the Prism, didn't he?
Yeah, he saw everything.
Okay, I'm confused by this unit movement out of Cure. I think he wants to go for a base trade with these units, but at this point I'd say if he just doesn't die at home, he just wins the game. Right now he's taking a risk to win the game harder, but that's usually not how you approach the game. It's rare to see like that, especially from Cure, who is, in my opinion, one of the more solid players. He didn't bring the sentries. Surprising.
Just the Stalkers.
He just goes home. This is so sad.
Yeah. It is a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah. A row away at 6:30, Wardy. Like the first 2 Vikings are going to be out before thermal lens starts here. This is what we call an Omega yikes.
And now you've got these Marines and Marauders coming up and down. Good response at least, but then there's actually a gap in the wall. I mean, the timing of the response was good. The actual execution of the response was not so brilliant.
It's a fine trade though, right? This was a decently sized army. But in any other game, this would have been okay. But he's down 2 workers. He's down in tech. His third Nexus is only slightly like he's in an awful spot, quite frankly. If he can kill these 2 medevacs, the game still is going to be in favor of Cure. Like if he loses nothing here. But I don't think he can trade without losing anything. So he catches these medevacs and Cure's like, that's okay, I think I can actually just pick up every unit before you kill it. And yeah.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, this was good trade for Cure.
Yeah.
Getting caught with your pants down 2 medevacs full, and then it's like, wait a second, I have +1 and like 8 Marauders in here. This is just as sad as the 4-gate move out, where he shows up, he's like, dang it, goes back home, loses 2 sentries, like, oh. You got a feel for the guy. He's had a rough series, man. He's been beat up and battered around. And it's not nice to see. Battery finishes just in time. There's a super battery available, but
yeah, he's dropping mines on top. I mean, he feels like a little overkill, but yeah, it is what it is. And Cure is gonna trade out. I mean, there's a Colossus showing up, so maybe Cure takes a step back and waits on some reinforcements. But of course, his reinforcements are going to be plenty in number with the economy still looking good for him. Just needs to move the third CC outright is the one thing that Q is missing right now, but that's coming. It's just morphing into an orbital. And Q is just going to start dropping around because he sees the Colossus, just knows it makes it an easier fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely right here. There's no vision on the map whatsoever. Cure is going to go into the third base. That's going to be a dead base. And the two drops are going to hit the main base while the natural is going to die against this drop as well. It's like, he's literally going to lose at every single angle. I doubt he's even going to be able to break the main base of Cure. Actually, it's going to be tough to maybe even break. Nah, okay, the natural he'll break. But the main base is an absolute no-no. We see Cure drop on top of the Colossi on the other side. A little bit of F2 action, or at least some miss micro there with the two manufacturers in the main. Cure just pulls up his workers into the main base though, and he's looking absolutely fine.
He recalls back home, which is interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess he takes down the natural and says maybe I can hold two bases or do something, I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be down on 11 workers despite having two bases. And there is still two bases as well for Kios, so he's good, he's fine.
Yeah, debatable whether having two bases and 11 workers is that great as well, right? Even if Cure was on one base, probably still be outmining his opponent, and yeah, it's just looking really, really rough. You know you're in a bad spot if your opponent is up 37 workers and is moving out across the map because he wants to finish the game faster. 4 mines are being loaded up into a medevac. There's about as many mines as there is probes, so I don't think this is actually going to be doing too much damage. We still have 2 drops in the dead space as well, and currently Zoun is, well, this is what, maybe 35 supply that's dealing with these 2 medevacs. I mean, I'm having a tough time seeing anything happen here for Zoun. 2-2 has started as well here for Cure, who is already up in upgrades, going to be going up most likely 3 upgrades. Ghost Academy can start soon as well once he gets, well, actually has the gas for it. He can actually just start it if he wants to. I see no chances here. There's no redeeming factor in this game in favor of Zoun. There's going to be one more attack. Cure does need to hold that, but I don't want to oversell your skill here, Wardy, but I think you would be able to hold this one.
I think so too. Not to brag and not to big myself up or anything, but I think I got this one. Stim forward at a Colossus, I can do that. Yeah,
you can
get
do
force
that,
fielded, I can do that too. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. You know, also could Cure as he picks up the third game.